Time for your medication, Mr. Mustard.
Well, hello! It is Friday. Friday can only mean one thing. That's right, tomorrow is Saturday. That's not very interesting, but at least that's factual. Now, I do have a very clear idea of what I am doing here today, and that is finishing off this Project Timothy. It deserves to be sent to the graveyard completely stripped. And you probably think it already is completely stripped, but it's not. I mean, remember yesterday, that rolled off the back of there. That's because it's still got wheels on. It's still got suspension and subframes and stuff like that. Still got seat belts and a roof lining and fuel pumps and a steering column. And probably some of the other bits under there as well that I still haven't got around to doing anything with. So you're probably expecting me to go off and do something completely different now. But no, I'm not going to do. I need to get on with this. So, the first thing I thought I would do is fix my trolley jack, because this extension had come off. So there we go, that's my bodge. It works. It's not like it's entirely irrelevant, is it? I mean, I need my jack. I need to be jacking the back end of the car up so I can start removing the subframe. I am now slightly underneath the car. Now, all of this rear subframe, anti-roll bar, rear arms and stuff like that, it all looks quite crusty. But I'm hoping it's just going to be surface rust, because all of this stuff's becoming increasingly difficult to buy second-hand, and I'm always being asked for components like these. So if I take them off and clean them up and they're fine, I can put them up for sale. And if they're no good, I can put it down to experience, like I normally do. I'm hoping to have a good day of this, spend most of the day actually sorting this lot out. But I need to go and make a cup of tea first. And I'm expecting quite a few visitors, or guests, or whatever you want to call them. You know, I mean business when I bring my cup of tea down to the job rather than leaving it up there because I know it's going to go cold. Selection of tools, all with extensions. Now the extensions are not because I need them, but because they're just easier to find when they're bigger, longer. Now I know I don't really give the impression of being very health and safety conscious, but actually I am. A bit more than you'd imagine actually. And that's why I've taken these wheels off and stuck them underneath the car. Now when I let the jack down, I'm going to strap the car down as well. See? Can't go anywhere then, can it? Eh? I mean, really, can it? No, it can't. That's the point. Yeah, that is quite wobbly actually. I wouldn't really recommend climbing under there. As I remember, we have two of these 15mm bolts either side, and then three 19mm bolts just under there, and that's what holds the whole thing on. Well, there are shock absorbers as well. That's at the top. Here's an update for you. Nothing really has happened. Two good reasons for that: visitors and rounded bolts, nuts. So it doesn't look like the main subframe wants to come off at all. So I'm having to just take apart this stuff here. But they're so rusted on that I can't even move stuff with my buzz gun. So I'm having to rely on man strength instead. Professional tools and talent are what's needed for such a job. And they're two things I don't actually have. But what I do have is patience. And sometimes a little bit of ingenuity. 1:05 already. It's coming to that time where I've got to start keeping my eye on the clock. So some people may look at this and find that quite laughable. I'm trying to do a YouTube channel that's entertaining and amusing and stuff, but the actual fact is the funniest thing about it is taking me all day not to get a rear subframe off. That's the problem with rusty bolts though, isn't it? Disappointments, unfortunately. These two 15mm bolts there on either side are properly rounded off. The last subframe I took off a 75 took half an hour to do the whole thing. Quite disappointing. The only real solution is to try this 14mm socket, knock it on, and then bash it back out. I had to do it with this one before. So that fits on there now as a 14mm. And there is a 14mm socket knocked onto a 15mm bolt. Now, will it work? Yes, it worked. See me move out of the way there pretty quickly. That's what all the effort's been about, getting off this thing here. The rear arms are nice and solid, just rather crusty, and the that thing, whatever you call that, I can't remember, and the anti-roll bar, again crusty, could do painting. 20 past 2 already. I've only got another 20 minutes. No, 10 past 2. It is 10 past 2, which means I've only got another 20 minutes before I've got to pack up and disappear for a little while. So, maybe I should have some dinner now. You know, I've said in the past that driving Nigel around makes me happy, partly because I just spot some of the people's reactions to it. And you think about it, if it didn't make me happy, how stupid would I look then? If I was driving around in this car looking all grumpy and people looking over and smiling and seeing a really grumpy old man inside, that'd be weird, wouldn't it? That wouldn't look right at all. I've got to look like a clown while I drive it. I wonder really whether there are many people around Rochdale that see this car and say things like that. Have you seen that guy that drives around in his multicoloured Rover 25? He always looks really happy. Do you think there's something wrong with him? I'm on my way back into work, and what always seems to happen is I have this break for an hour while I go off to the school, and during that time I get all tired. When I get back to work, I don't really feel like doing anything. But I must continue today. No excuses. Well, I said it's difficult to regain my motivation when I come back. I just kind of decided I've had enough of this one for the day. I'm going to do something else. This complete subframe thingy looks like some sort of massive, elaborate butterfly. And now, I've actually had Project Larry sat here for nearly a week now, and besides taking some bits out of it, like the wheels, I've done nothing whatsoever. And so I think it's about time I had a proper look around it. Alright, so I'm going to start by taking the stuff out of here that doesn't need to be in here. Like this bumper. I'm going to remove this bumper because I want to get this carpet out. Storing carpets is a bit of a pain, but they're just the kind of thing that somebody's going to want at some point. Now, I wonder how long that mouse has been there. It doesn't look very healthy, does it? This is the inside of the car. And what's interesting is this proper old scrap car kind of smell. Scrap yard car. I remember this smell from when I first started driving and exploring the scrap yards looking for parts that I probably didn't know how to fit anyway. And I don't know what that smell actually is. It's kind of a gluey kind of smell, but yeah, there's just being sat in here amongst all this stuff that needs chucking that actually makes me feel really rather content. So it is rather full of wiper blades for some reason. I mean, not just one or two, but absolutely loads of them. I can't see you put all these wiper blades in here, did you, Dan? Doesn't seem like the kind of thing you do. It doesn't matter, but it's just curious. Now, I'm really interested in getting this boot open because obviously if I can't open it, I can't sell it should somebody want to buy it. I'm not sure this panel's going to come off without being a bit broken because it does actually feel quite brittle already. Sunlight. The boot is open, but unfortunately this back panel here didn't last. Yeah, the plastic's really quite brittle on it. That would have made loading those ramps up so much easier. And it only took a couple of minutes. Looks like it's time to go home. Captain Mustard signing out for the day. Now Craig keeps calling me Colonel Mustard, telling me that I've been promoted. But I don't want the promotion. It's a lot of extra work for not much more money. So I want to stay as captain. Now, are you going to move over, being as you're going so slowly? Are you? Are you going to move over? Are you going to move over? Yes. With just about enough time for me to overtake. Thank you very much.